Hey everybody, what's up and welcome back to my channel to this video of a first impression slash demo of the new, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Adelaine Morin. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing it right. I will be completely upfront with you. I do not know who she is. I had to read up on her. But this is what the palette looks like. And when I saw on Instagram and Ulta that it had released this morning, I was like, yeah, I need to pick that up. I truly regret not picking up, well, I had picked up the Tarte and Aspen Ovard palette, but it was just a little too neutral and I hadn't used it yet and I didn't want to be one of those people who I use it and then I return it. Anyway, so I just returned it knowing I wasn't probably going to use it, and looking back I'm like, I had swatched that thing in store and the highlights were so good. But anyways, so when I saw that this released, I was like, you know, I'm not going to have a repeat of that. I don't know who this person is, but I really do think I want to pick it up. So I did. So if you're interested to see how I got this look, because we're going to do this demo together, my reactions to all this, and I will disclose, I'm having a totally off day today. I don't know, my mind is all over the place. It's dreary, it's rainy, I have a lot on my mind, so I'm just kind of all over the place. So you're going to see that I had already put on highlight at the time of this, you know, that I started filming. I'm like, why? I started doing my eyes before hitting the record button on the camera. I'm just all over the place, guys. So a little patience is definitely appreciated. But let's go ahead and go through first the description on the Ulta website. I'm going to give you the swatches before we go into the demo featuring my first impressions. I think you're going to find some of these impressions kind of funny. Some of y'all do from time to time, and I'm totally okay with that. So first off, you guys, it is a $39 eyeshadow palette. It comes with 9 shades, a highlight, and a blush. It is the Adelaine Morin Eye and Cheek palette. It says Morin is a 21-year-old master of beauty, and my thing is to be 21 and already have collabed with somebody like Tarte. That's really amazing. Like, way to go in your career. I wish I would have started all this much earlier in my life, but that's awesome. Good for her. Let's see, she's a master of beauty, transformation, and entertainment in her blogs. Since creating her YouTube channel in 2011, this Canadian-born influencer captivated her audience's love with her passion for makeup, outgoing personality, strong voice for girls, supporting girls, and obsessive love for the color yellow. I wore my yellow. I'm representing, even though I don't know who she is. Finding inspiration within her YouTube community and pop culture, Adelaine seamlessly transforms herself into leading figures of film, television, and music. I'm totally going to YouTube her after filming this video. I'm like super curious to start binge watching her videos. These dynamic videos illuminate her exceptional talent and bold personality while also providing her 4 million plus Adelangels, I think, with inspired original content. So, let's see. Oh, it does have Amazonian clay. You're going to see when I apply the blush that I'm like, I don't know if this blush is Amazonian clay. It is, and it has some mineral pigments, and it's, you know, Tarte to be a cruelty-free brand. I don't know if there is much more to say about it. Let's see, real quick for you. It is made in the USA. I am finding that most releases this year, like by Tarte and by Too Faced and by a few other brands, have been made in the USA. I think that's awesome. You do get you get 9 eyeshadows at 0.8 grams or 0.029 ounces. You get a highlighter at 3.5 grams or 0.124 ounces, and then the blush 3.5 grams, 0.124 ounces. So this is the packaging. It is totally brightening up my day. I love the yellow. I love the pink. This is just probably, like, without it being an anticipated collection or an anticipated product, that it's just kind of something that popped up and I was like, I want to go get it. This is very pleasing to the eye. I just was right off the bat super impressed. So the palette itself, so let me show you what's on the back of the box. You do have the pretty much the same description I read to you from the Ulta website. You have a picture of her, and then the pretty much, you know, who she is. And then the palette itself is very sturdy. I love that it doesn't feel cheap. It is exclusive to Ulta, and so sometimes you never know with those types of releases, like, okay, is it going to be some sort of like cheap kind of, you know, they're just pushing it out to one store kind of thing. I have had that happen in the past where I'm just not super impressed, and so I kind of went in with the mindset that, all right, I'm hoping this is going to be as good as that Aspen Ovard collection or palette that I remember, but I need to keep in mind that it may not be. So that being said, the packaging is very, very sturdy. The little insert is so pretty. It's got little like lemons. I love that. I am going to keep it. It's very pretty. I've always told y'all those little details. It adds a lot, you know? You do get a mirror on the inside. It folds all the way back, and then you do have your 9 shades, your highlight and your blush. You get 3 kind of like metallic-y type of formulas. And then the rest, the other 6 are mattes. And so we'll go through those together, but I do want to give you swatches of these first. Before we go into that, I will also tell you that when I saw not the promo pics, the stock photos this morning before I had gone to pick it up, they looked brighter than what I thought they looked brighter than what they were once I got into the store and saw the display out. They were a little bit more muted down, not excessively, but it does look brighter or richer on the in the stock photos than it does in real life. But that remains to be seen on whether that performs that way or not. You'll find out. All right, guys, so let me go ahead and grab you some swatches and I'll be right back with those. First up, we have got Adelaine's Contour, Law of Attraction, and Mama Morin. And for those of y'all who are fans of this individual, I am more than sure these shade names are going to have meaning to you, which I think is awesome. I think, here are the first 4. Why can't I think of her? Graveyard Girl. When she did her collab with Tarte, her shade names, same thing. It resembled, or they were named after things that her fans would know. And I think that's pretty neat because this kind of gives you something like tangible for that individual that inspires you or that you really are a fan of. I grabbed the remaining 5 for you. So we've got Red Eye Flight, Beep Bop, Girls Supporting Girls, Boss Lady, and Beautiful, Magical, Wonderful. And let's swipe these on. And that's that. So based on the first impression, based on today's use of the palette, my favorite, I can already tell you, is this matte orange. It's very, very rich, it's very pigmented, and it is incredibly easy to work with. All right, guys, the final 2 are Promise Ring and I Feel Beautiful. So these 2 right here are the highlighter and the blush. Now, what I'm going to tell you, so highlighter and blush, there we go. What I feel upon first impression, without me owning the highlighter cookie by Benefit, I'm not gonna go into the details. I no longer purchase Benefit products, so I never had the opportunity to pick that one up, but based on what I've swatched in store and based on what I've seen on a lot of people's videos, this is very, very similar to that highlight. So if you are looking for a possible dupe for that, and don't quote me on that because again, I don't own that highlighter by Benefit, so I've never really used it on my skin, but I dare say that that's a pretty close dupe. Check it out in store for yourself. I would just point that out. Anyways, now that we've gone through swatches, let's go ahead and go into the demo featuring first impressions, and then we'll be back with my final first impression thoughts. Okay guys, I am absolutely not on my A game today. So first off, I did my face before doing this video and I put highlight on, and obviously there's highlight in this palette. So I'm gonna have to use that as a brow bone highlight so I can give you my first impression. Second of all, I'm here chit-chatting with you, going to town on the first eye, and obviously the camera then tells me, hey, shutting down because nothing's happening. And that's when I realized I wasn't recording. I don't know what's happening today. I am all over the place, so my apologies for the highlight being done, which that was kind of, I mean, I was doing my face off camera anyways, but you didn't get my reaction on this first eye. That's okay. So we'll go ahead and chit chat through this second eye while I tell you what I thought I was telling you. Anyways, so what I was saying about this shadow is that it is super rich and pigmented, and I honestly did not think it was going to be that way because I never know if there's like a collaboration that's only coming, like for example to Ulta. It makes you wonder like, okay, is the quality gonna be any good? especially because this palette was $39 and I'm like, okay, well this is going to kind of need to knock my socks off for this price. So that is, now I brought you up to speed because that's what I had first told y'all, but I am actually super, super impressed with this first shade and how it just immediately was rich and easy to blend, and I am loving the tone of this. It's like the perfect tone to like be nice and deep, but at the same time it's not like overpowering and it's easy to work with. And anyways, I am going in with this shade first, and then we'll put like a transition shade over top of this as kind of like a peeking through, but I did want to start off with this shade first. So first impression on the first shade is really good. All right, guys, and I don't even know if I told you what shade that was. It was Bebop. Again, I am so all over the place today. It's one of those super dreary, rainy days, and I think it's messing with my mind a little bit. I'm kind of in a lazy, relaxed type of mode. So I think what we're going to put over top of that as like a transition shade is Boss Lady. It's that orange shade. I'm just going to take just a little blending brush, and we're going to peek that through over the top of that brown shade. And this kind of sometimes saves me a step because usually then I go in with my dark shade. Ooh, this pigmented. Yeah, we're gonna have to blend that out because that's a little much. Whoa. Okay, so here's a word to the wise. Go in with a really light hand with this palette and then build your way up because, oh my gosh, now I'm gonna have to do like a little bit of rework and blending. It's not a big deal, but that's awesome. I mean, the payoff is way more than I anticipated. Okay, let's continue working that up there. I don't think I need much more. But anyways, what I was saying was this helps it peek through without like hiding it. You put it down first and then you put your dark shade and it kind of, you know, kind of hides it, and then you got to go back anyway. So might as well save that first step and just peek it through. This, you guys, is really blowing my mind. I'm super, super excited about the potential for this palette. This is really, really good. This is blending nicely. It's super pigmented. Oh, I'm so excited. Now that we've got that down, we're gonna go in with a little bit of primer. Any kind of tacky primer will do. I am hardcore for the Fenty Pro Filter Eye Primer, which I'm running very, very low on this, and as soon as it's out, I am going to switch up to the Urban Decay Primer Potion because I got it at 50% off during the 21 Days of Beauty at Ulta. But this is my preferred primer. So if the Urban Decay isn't everything I remember it to be, then we're going to go back and purchase one of these. So I'm basically just laying that down on the lid. Y'all have, if you've been watching me for a while, then you know that this is my preferred method to make an eyeshadow really pop, to bring out like its full potential. I went a little heavy-handed just now. I typically am a little more careful, but again, I seem to be having some sort of really off day. Anyways, that's also kind of gives you the look of a cut crease without you having to go through all of the hassle of cutting your crease with like concealer or a specific product. And so this makes it just a little bit easier. You don't have to be super precise. So I'm trying to think what I want to do. I honestly think I'm going to go in with Red Eye Flight all over the lid, and then I think I'm going to just put a little bit of Law of Attraction on the middle. I was disappointed that I missed out on the Aspen Ovard palette. Not that I missed out, I actually had purchased that one. But I ended up returning it the next day because I had some buyer's remorse. It was just so neutral, and I'm like, I don't really use a whole lot of this. And then, of course, afterwards, I was like, darn it, I wish I would have kept it. I mean, I returned it because I didn't want to use it and return it used if I didn't like it. But now, of course, looking back, I'm like, darn, I wish I would have... Ooh, this is pretty. This reminds me, it's a very penny type of shade. Anyways, so given that I had missed out on that and I regretted it, I had... What do they call it? FOMO? I don't know. Anyways, I thought, I think I'm going to try this one because I don't want to be bummed that I missed out on this one too, if it's like the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm going to leave that little area bare because I'm going to go in with a little more of that deeper shade. But I've got fallout, just so that you know. I've got some major fallout right now. Darn. There we go. Oh, that was easy to sweep off. I've got my foundation on, so whatever falls is gonna fall. Next up, I'm going to go in with the shade Law of Attraction. It is the Super Gold shade, and I'm going to just take this on a finger. That sounded funny. I'm just going to take it with my finger. Actually, just my ring finger is usually what works best. This is super rich gold. Yeah, I guess this is the one we'll use. I don't know how this is going to look, you guys. I've never really done like such a rich shade in the middle. I kind of go with something a little bit more like, I don't know. I don't know what the word is, but wow, this is really, really rich. This is nice. I'm going in with Red Eye Flight. So basically the shade that we took all over the lid. Now I will tell you there's a little bit of hard pan already developed. It's likely because I go in with the primer. You know how I did that technique and I laid the shadow directly down, and then when I go back in the pan, I find that sometimes doing that does create hard pan. Sometimes it doesn't. I just guess it, I guess it depends on like the formula of the shadow. But basically I'm just going to kind of like sweep this, and when I say sweep, I literally mean like I am dragging, like I am sweeping back and forth because I'm looking for this to all blend together. To make it look almost like it's one shade, but it's technically two. Now I'm going to go back into that dark Bebop shade, and we're going to put this on the outer portion of the lid just to kind of tie it all together. I hadn't done it at the beginning when I was doing that, when I was putting it in the crease, just because I figured I'd wait until we were all done with the top portion of the lid, except I've got a little thing right here. There we go. I was waiting till we were all done so that then we can just tie it all together, and that way we kind of save yourself an extra step. All right, top portion of the lids are done. I'm gonna go ahead and add my liner, my mascara, and I will be back as my lash glue dries so that we can do the lower lash line. So I will be right back. Okay, so liner and mascara is done. My falsies are drying right now, or they're getting tacky. So while we wait for those to be ready, let's go ahead and do the lower lash line. I pretty much know that I want to use Boss Lady all over the lower lash line, and then we will deepen it up on the outer portion with the shade Bebop. Beep Bop. I've been calling it Bebop. It's Beep Bop. I don't even know what that means. If you are a fan of this person, then I'm sure you do, but it's obviously that deep one we've been working with. And let's go ahead and get this lower lash line started. This palette smells really good. It smells like vanilla or vanilla cupcakes or something. I'm really, really liking it. This orange shade is probably so far, I know we haven't used them all, but this orange shade is probably my favorite. It's very, very rich. It's very orange shade. It's like this whole palette gives me like citrus vibes. Okay, now going in with Beep Bop. And we're just going to place this like on the outer portion just to tie it all in and to give it a little bit more depth. I think we're going to go in with some brown liner. This is the Essence Extreme Lasting Eye Pencil in the shade But First Espresso 02. And it is time for me to get a new one because I'm getting down to the little nubby part of this pencil. So I am just going to place this in my waterline. Honestly, had I had I know you're going to be very surprised at this, but I don't own a liquid liner for like my regular lash, for my upper lash line. I don't own a liner in brown, so typically if I want to do liner, it's always black unless I'm using a shadow or something. So anyways, that would have been the best option, but we used black on top and we'll use brown on the bottom. Let's go ahead and first start with the highlighter, Promise Ring, right here. We're gonna put that in the inner corner and on the brow bone. Now I'm not gonna use like the primer because I typically wouldn't use primer like on my face, obviously. So let's see what this baby can do. You guys know I am I'm all about the highlight, and oh my gosh, what? Oh, I'm so bummed now that I have put highlight on my face because I want to put this all over my face. Okay, let's do this again. This is ridiculous. This is like full on wattage. This is like blinding. Pretty sure my neighbors can see me right now. Blind, like beaming through the window. Let's try it up here. Oh my gosh, you guys. Whoa. This is one of the reasons I totally regret not keeping that Aspen Ovard palette. Like, absolutely big time regret. What in the world? This is amazing. Let's try this blush. Oh my gosh. Tarte makes some of the best blushes out there, and I don't know that this is an Amazonian clay blush. I am pretty sure it is not. But oh my goodness, you guys, wow. If you're curious as to what highlight I am wearing, it's the Ciate Jessica Rabbit highlight. That's the only thing I picked up from the collection, and it was mainly because Temptalia had graded it as an A. Oh my gosh, you guys. Wow. Okay, this is the final look. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found this helpful. I'm still dumbfounded at that highlighter. Okay. We'll use it on the cheeks next time. I'm so excited. All right, thanks for watching. All right, you guys, that brings us to the end of that little tutorial featuring this palette. Now let's go ahead and go into some final thoughts. Granted, this is a first impression. I don't do a whole lot of these on my channel because I really like to test something out pretty thoroughly before I come to you with thoughts or recommendations, or, you know, maybe non-recommendations. But given that I just started playing with this today, I will give you my thoughts based on today's use of the palette. First off, the packaging is, I love it. I really, really do. It's something about the color yellow just tends to make you a little happier, and I love that it's got the lemons. I love the citrus vibe. It's very summer, it's very spring, and the pink is just that feminine touch. It's perfect. I love the packaging. Couldn't be happier. Now let's get into the inside of the palette. So I think you can tell based off of my first impression reactions what I think about a lot of these things. I honestly think this is probably the first time in a very long time that I'm going to say this. I like the mattes in here more than I like the other shades, like the metallic type shades. I don't know. Something about these mattes is just perfect. They blend so well. The pigmentation is rich. They're easy to use. They're easy to work with. And the tones they create such pretty looks. Granted, I've done one look, but using the mattes I used, I'm like, wow, I cannot wait to use these some more in different ways. I'm so excited. Now, I would say based on the two metallics that I used, Red Eye Flight, it's okay. Like, it's not my favorite. I really liked Law of Attraction, even though gold is something you can find in a whole lot of palettes. Now, granted, still remains to be seen what I think of this bronze shade, but I'm kind of at a 50-50 right now for the metallic shades. The mattes are what really won me over with this palette. These face products, you guys, even if the eye products were not that great, these face products would have done it for me. This highlighter, even though, and my apologies, sincerest apologies that I didn't use it on my cheeks because I had already, my mind was elsewhere when I was doing my foundation or my face. But when I used it on my inner corner and my brow bone, wow, absolutely blown away. The wattage on these is on this is very, very intense. So if you are not crazy about a super bold highlight, you're really gonna have to find a way to tone it down, go in with a super light hand and then possibly buff it out, maybe go over it with a beauty blender. I'm not sure, but this is very, very intense. Sign me up. I love intense highlights. As far as the blush, you could tell based on when I put it on that I loved it because I was like, man, this is like the Amazonian clay, even though I don't know if it's Amazonian clay, and I think it is based on the description. So the blush was a total win for me. I love this palette so much. At first, when I walked out of the store, I was like, man, that's $39 is, if it's a great palette, that's a great price. However, if it's one that's kind of in the middle or not so great, then that's kind of expensive. This was worth the $39. I'm so glad I picked it up. I am so excited to keep using it, to keep playing with it. This is going to be a welcome addition to my eyeshadow palette collection, and I'm going to love using it in the spring and into the summer because of the yellows and the oranges. It's just really going to look great, I think, with like a little bit of deeper skin, like once I start getting a little bit of sun, which I don't know, even in the summer I seem to not get a whole lot of sun, but I think it's going to really, really be used well from my collection. All right, my friends, that brings us to the end of this video. Before I let you go, you guys know the drill. I have to give you the verse of the day. Not I have to, I just want to. Just in an effort to let you know that Jesus loves you so, so very much, no matter what point in life you are, whether you're young or whether you're more mature. Jesus loves you at every point in your life, every chapter of your book, and I just want you to know that. Today's comes from Acts 4:12, and it says, "Salvation is found in no one else, for there is no other name under heaven given to mankind by which we must be saved." I think it's easy to forget with how overwhelming life can be, and just everything wants to take charge of our mind, and makeup is one of those things for me. That's where I struggle, where I'm like, okay, what do I want to do about this, and what are the next releases? And sometimes I just have to hone my mind in on just resting and relaxing in Jesus. Just so many things try to steal my attention, and I'm like, okay, the one thing that matters above everything else, regardless of the makeup, regardless of anything, is Jesus, because he is the most important thing in this life. It is my prayer that if you don't already know him as your Lord and Savior, that he would make himself known to you, that you would just feel him in your heart, that you would just know that he is there no matter what you're going through, that you know you have a comforter, a best friend, just anything and everything. He is that for you. He has been that to me, and I honestly would not be here if it were not for him, and I am testament to that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for sticking it out with me. Please give it a thumbs up if you found it helpful or entertaining or just fun to watch. I don't know. I hope you'll consider subscribing if you are new to my channel, because I do love going through makeup with you guys. I love talking makeup and just kind of playing with it, having fun with it. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Love you. Bye.